easy to see that not everyone will get a dormitory place. This is why we created accommodation services instead of just providing dormitory places. These days we provide places only in the fully renovated buildings of the university. So every room is a double room with 2 beds, with its own bathroom, much more comfortable.
ELTE Walk. Everything you need to know about ELTE.
Welcome to the ELTE Walk podcast, a program of the ELTE International Strategy Office created to present everything you need to know about ELTE Fuzsgolóra University as a prospective or current international student. I'm Raissa Negrao, a student in the doctoral program in psychology at ELTE and international student ambassador. My co-host is Tamás Jamriskó, editor-in-chief of the first university radio of the city of Pest, which is producing this program in cooperation with the ELTE International Strategy Office.
So welcome everybody. In our 5th episode, our guest is Tibor Ágotai, with whom we will talk about housing, finding accommodation and dormitories. So hello Tibor.
Hello everyone. Thank you for the invitation.
What do you hear and what do you work here at the ELTE?
I'm an international coordinator of the Dormitory Center, which is a central department responsible for everything that is accommodation in the university. So it's not just for faculties, but for everyone in the university.
The accommodation, especially the dormitories, are very important here for the students' life. So who can apply for a place in an ELTE dormitory? And how many dormitories we have?
This is the easy part of the question, who can apply, because everyone can apply who is applying to the university or who is already a student of the university. And not just the students, by the way, but teachers, trainees can also apply to our services. The harder part of the question is that you are asking about the dormitories, but the applications are for accommodation services. So not just for the dormitories, but we also have another field called the housing office, which is a sub-department of the dormitory center, same house. And this covers everything from private dormitories, apartment houses, flats, and all kind of other accommodations the students may need.
Sounds good. So what's the difference between the dormitory and the private dormitory and just the simple housing? So absolutely clear, everybody can and everybody are able to apply for a dormitory, for a place in a dormitory. So, but what is the application process and who will get a place in one dormitory?
Well, the difference is first, the dormitories, where we are talking about dormitories, I mean the dormitories of the Eötvös Loránd University and not any dormitories that exist in Budapest or in other cities, because other universities, regional institutes may have also their own dormitories, and there are private dormitories and all kind of other places. We are talking about the university's own dormitories. Here we are managing the dormitories, the buildings, we are responsible for the students there, but in the private market, in private accommodations, they are not under our management. We are just offering these places, we are visiting these places, we know they exist. This is always a risk for international students that they cannot visit the place before their arrival, and there is always a risk that it may not even exist. So we know that these places are there, they are the real pictures and real prices, real persons behind these accommodations. Also in the dormitories, there are very strict national laws for what can be a dormitory, so minimum square meter, minimum services in a dormitory, while in a private accommodation, these may or may not exist at all.
So we know that this is a very sensitive topic because I think I mentioned in another episode that for me, this was my first concern before coming to Hungary, housing, where I'm going to live and which dorm. And if you go to the ELTE website, there's many options, as you mentioned. And specifically, how many dormitories do ELTE provide? And where are they located? Are they only in Budapest or outside Budapest as well. How many dormitories does ELTE provide?
There are 8 dormitories in Budapest and 3 in Szombathely. The university is in 2 cities, 2 campuses, if you like. In Budapest, we have 8 all around the city, just like the faculties of the university. There are 4 on the side of Pest and 4 on the side of Buda, two different parts of the city. And also we have 3 other dormitories in other cities where there are no studying faculties of the university in Debrecen, Pécs and Szeged. Also, there is the matter of dormitories for advanced studies. These are not regular dormitories. They have their own application procedures, so they are not under our management, but they are also called dormitories, which may confuse the new students at first, but usually you meet with these accommodations only if you are going for advanced studies.
And if somebody would like to apply for a place in an ELTE, a strictly ELTE dormitory, what is the application process?
The dormitory and housing application are the same, like I mentioned. It's called accommodation services altogether. The application form is, the first section is for personal data and contact informations. The second part is for the dormitory application, basically to which dormitories you would like to apply.
Sorry for stopping you, but so we have to apply for housing after being accepted at ELTE.
Well, the application is not that simple because the applying students who are not an ELTE students yet, they need accommodation, a proof of accommodation for the visa application. To simplify it, we found a solution. Many students applied to the dormitories because they needed proof of accommodation for their visa application. And later they can sell their dormitory places without moving in. So we have a solution for this. Every ELTE student who is already accepted to ELTE gets a temporary proof of accommodation in their letter of acceptance, which is issued by the faculty when the student is accepted, the applicant is accepted to ELTE. And that way they already have the proof of accommodation. This is an administrative matter, but a very important administrative matter. Without a visa, you cannot basically travel in. That's half true, but the point is the same. We wanted to make the accommodation services available as soon as possible, at least the application, because there are about 3,500 international students at ELTE. And they have many different kind of scholarships from many countries, very different deadlines, requirements for the scholarships. And so we found that there is no way that we can fulfill everyone's request. So we made 3 applications. One is for the non-first year international students. They can apply to the accommodation services in May and June and later for the waiting list as well. Then the second application is for everyone who is not an ELTE student yet. They are called the first year students, the first year application, and their application begins in late April, early May, and it will have a result when the Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship will be known to the applying students. That's usually the first week, second week of July. And the third application is the waiting list for everyone who missed the previous applications. So basically we have 3 applications, and there is a fourth for the Savaria campus in Szombathely, so it's not that simple, unfortunately. But the applications themselves are quite simple. There is no need for any document you must send. It's basically an online form you must fill, and we need only the necessary data to identify the applicant if that person is really going to be an ELTE student, and we get this data from international offices of the university, so there is no need for the student to identify himself or herself because we know the personal data from central databases. That way it's a really simple thing to apply, an online form only that is available for most of the year.
Mm-hmm. I would like to just say that we will attach every important and necessary information to our show notes about the application form and stuff like that. Just guys, don't get lost in the information because you mentioned it was a bit dense, but it's still okay.
For the dorm places and the housing, the documents are the same. I mean, it's the same form.
Yes, mm-hmm. The very same application. Mm-hmm. So the students need to apply only once, and we do not make it harder for them by filling 2 different applications for the same purpose.
Oh, I see. That makes students' life easier.
That's our goal.
You said that before everybody are able to apply for a place in the dormitory, but who will get accepted?
Well, we have about 400, 500 international places in the dormitories, and we have at the university like 3,500 international students, so it's easy to see that not everyone will get a dormitory place. This is why we created accommodation services instead of just providing dormitory places. The housing is an addition to the dormitory places to increase our capacities. Well, who can get a dormitory place? Like you said, anyone can apply to the dormitories, so anyone can get a place there who becomes an ELTE student. It's an important thing to mention because, like I said, you can apply to the accommodation services before being accepted to the university. So we check who becomes a student, of course. We created priority groups. There is no way to check everyone's background. There are so many students from so many countries, different backgrounds, that what works with the international, with the Hungarian students, that we check the background is not working with international students. So there are priority groups. It's mostly based on scholarships. First, the students to whom we must provide a dormitory place, then certain scholarships, especially Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship, then other scholarships, and finally self-paying students. And within each priority group, the order of application decides who get a dormitory place.
Besides the housing, do your office provide also some other activities such as other activities such as opportunities? Okay. Do your office offers other opportunities to international students? We did this framework of housing, such as sport programs, etc.
Yes. First, mentioning the dormitories, there is a vivid life in the dormitories, in each of them. Each dormitory has its own traditions, customs, regular or irregular events, be it sport or some kind of dormitory days they like to make. So these are all available for international students as well. Some are only for the students who live in the dormitory. Some are open to any ELTE student who wishes to visit the place. In case of international students, it's very popular that there are national days or evenings where one can show their own culture, or dormitory days may have special events for international students, like teaching Hungarian dance, or international students are teaching to the Hungarians their own dances, or cooking is very popular in the dormitories. Everyone cooks their own national dishes. So there are a lot of opportunities. Usually these are organized by the Student Union or the students themselves, and the dormitory center as a department provides the background for it to make sure that everything is legally correct, and there is some financial background to it.
So, if I understood correctly, every dormitory is responsible for their own activities, right? So it's not something
exactly. We are called the dormitory center, but each dormitory is unique in its own way. Unique buildings, unique customs in the dormitories. So yes.
Yeah, I remember because I have lived in a dormitory before many years ago, and
in Hungary, right?
Yes, of course, in District 13, and we had I think kettlebell and aerobics class every week. So it was very, very interesting. It was a nice mix of Hungarians and international students doing these classes.
Oh, and was it for free?
Yes.
That's absolutely sounds good. So, based on your experiences, how should we imagine a room in a dormitory? How was yours?
Me? Okay.
Yeah, because after that I'm going to ask Tibor, because he's the professional, but you have some kind of experiences of.
Yes. Actually, a fun fact, Tibor was the admin in my dormitory, so I know him from there.
Exactly.
So it's a very nice surprise today. Well, I know that every dormitory is different, but my dormitory in particular was shared with 2 other people. So one room for 3 people. We had a common kitchen, a common bathroom, and we had the cleaning services that were provided for the dormitory for free. So we didn't have to clean our room, which was very good.
Impressive.
Yes. Yes, so it was a very international, environment, because it was also a big international community in my dormitory back then. So it was, that's it.
So how's like a typical room in an ELTE dormitory?
We have changed a little since you were living in our dormitories the last time. Back then there were mostly 3 bedrooms with shared bathrooms. By shared I mean for a floor usually. But these days we provide places only in the fully renovated buildings of the university. So every room is a double room with 2 beds, with its own bathroom, much more comfortable. So we try to provide the best that we have. Instead of providing just quantity, we also want to provide quality as well.
Don't you want to come back?
Maybe now I do a private bathroom.
and it's worth mentioning actually what are the students' expectations of the dormitory rooms, because we get very lot of emails, and some are asking that there is a mattress in my bed, or should I get it myself? And there is the opposing side that they expect that we are providing some luxury hotel place with jacuzzi and everything you may need. So what is the standard in the dormitories? One dormitory place always provides a bed with mattress, of course, pillow, blanket. Sheets are usually not included because everyone likes to use their own.
Yeah, that's practical.
Yes. There is a table and chair for every student, wardrobe, shelves, and so on. By now, every room has its own fridge. That's a standard, so it's not like before that there are some shared fridges in the floor. And like I mentioned, international students are accommodated in rooms with its own bathroom. The kitchen is always on the floor, so it's a shared kitchen by usually like 20, 40 students. Also, the dormitories, all of them are slightly different, but most of them have a gym. If there is a garden, then usually there is a sport field for football or basketball or some other open field place. There are always community rooms which you can use for an event or just trying to get out of the room from the roommate. There are study rooms, and maybe not on every floor, but there are many study rooms in every dormitory. So these are the standards in the dormitories. And Wi-Fi, of course.
Of course, very important.
Yeah, that's also practical. And what about those students who has special needs, any kind of special needs? Is there a policy for that?
Exactly, we are prepared for that. Students with special needs, may it a wheelchair or for a blind person, fully accessible room may be needed, or the person is coming with a guiding dog or any kind of special needs. We provide them the places if they apply to the services. They are a priority group in the application. So as long as we have the free capacity, then we provide them automatically. They just need to apply.
It's nice to hear that.
So, for instance, if someone is looking for other accommodation options beyond the dormitories, what would you recommend?
We have several housing partners. These are in contract with the university, so we are recommending them on purpose, of course. And these are checked places, so both in quality and in quantity. We have all kinds of partners. Let's divide them into 3 groups. First is the ones that provide larger accommodations for many students, like private dormitories or apartment houses. Usually they provide places for 100, maybe 200 students. Then the second group is real estate agencies who do not own these places. They collect it from the private market and they help the students to actually book a place, similar to the role of the housing office, because the housing office, ELTE housing office, does not own these places, of course. We are just recommending them. Then the third is advertising pages. These are to collect private accommodations, usually for 1 or 2 students. And so these smaller accommodations are not lost in the internet, and they can be easily found by our students.
So when the student apply for a dormitory, they obligatory need to stay for a whole year semester, or for instance, they can leave within 1 semester?
The students can leave at basically any time. They can change the location or their accommodation, but there are some boundaries to this, of course. So they can move out anytime from the dormitories, but we expect them to stay for a semester or an academic year, because in the middle of the semester it's really hard to replace the students if they are moving out. And also on the private market, the contracts are usually for 5, 10 or 12 months. So if somebody is moving in the middle of a semester, then they may find some other accommodation, but it will be really hard for somebody else who needs his or her accommodation to actually move into that place.
And what are the hard rules in a dormitory? For example, if somebody would like to organize a party in their room in the middle of the night, is it allowed or not? So what can we expect if we get the acceptance for a dormitory?
Well, the house rules regulate the most important things of the daily life, be it organizing an event or what times should be the most silent in a place. Of course, there are hundreds of students, so it cannot be avoided that you will meet with others, you will live with others. That's part of the dormitory life, that you are living in a community. But of course, the purpose of the house rules is that they provide they guarantee that everyone who is living there can live peacefully, they can study, they can have a calm night. So these rules are keeping everything together. I think that if we should make a summary of the house rules, is that live but let others live.
That's a very good point, I think. Hi Sam, if I ask you to give one good advice as an ex-dormitory inhabitant for the future international students in Hungary, if they want to go to the dormitory and live, of course, in a dormitory?
Well, I would say, I don't know, go to as many events and activities as possible that the dorm offers, because there's so many opportunities to know people from all over the world just, I don't know, 1 meter ahead of you. So I would say just integrate and meet as many people as you can, because it's a unique experience, of course, and like a big learning. Yeah, that's it.
Tibor, what's yours?
Well, if you are living in the dormitories, then you will meet all kinds of people from everywhere, and I mean not just the nationality or country or cultural background, but I also mean that from all kinds of ELTE faculties or studies, because the dormitories are not for a faculty or just for one studies. You will meet with each other. So these are a good place to exchange experience and learn new things, and dormitories are always about community and, of course, affordability.
Thank you for your attention, and thank you to Tibor Ágotai for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. In the next episode, we will talk about the practical things you need to do once you arrive in Hungary. Social security card, insurance, student ID, and so on.
Thank you again. Bye-bye. ELTE Walk. Everything you need to know about ELTE.